Please do keep a note on the words because they may hurt people. Please don't let me ask me, folks. We're all here today. Finally, the first offline meeting of this term. I'm so excited to meet you all. Thank you so much for being here. Please, I request you all to keep your phones on silent. I'll give you 15 seconds for that. I hope you're all done with that. Please avoid moving around when the speaker is speaking on the stage. And please cheer to all the role takers and the speakers. We all have talents, and those talents can only be brought out by someone who can build us and who can guide us. Like a craftsman carves a rock into a beautiful statue, we need somebody who can guide us and carve us, a teacher, who can make us shine. To thank all our teachers, let me sing this shloka for all of you. Jnanananda Timirandasya Jnanandana Salakshaya Chakshur Militan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Meaning, I pay salutations to the dispeller of the darkness, the Guru, the teacher, who removes the ignorance and the darkness and leads us towards knowledge. I want to introduce you all to this special person who has always helped me and guided me. I'll tell you how. Few months back, I have to say, when he was the VP Ed, he asked me one day, will you be the TMOD? And I just said, okay. I didn't even think twice. I was very excited. The agenda had not yet come out. So what happened was, I had already said okay, and I was so super excited to play my first time as a TMOD. When he sent the agenda, I see all the members are the senior Toastmasters. I was so shocked. I was so scared. I called him up and I said, what is this? What do I do? It's my first time. I'll be so scared. I might fumble. So, how is this going to help? So he told me, it's okay. You go ahead and take this chance. You will learn a lot because each and every senior Toastmaster will give you one or the other takeaway. And he is none other than our very cool, humorous and witty President Srijit Kilakilot.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kirtana, for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
How are you doing this evening? Great. How do you feel for this first offline meeting of this term? I agree, because there is no other format can be replaced or conventional of offline meetings, right?
Yes.
Yes. With that note, I declare the meeting 1288 open. Now I request our Associate Secretary, Toastmaster Vishal, to give a glimpse of our previous meeting. Toastmaster Vishal.
Good evening, Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
The previous meeting number 1287, started off on time at 6:30 with our Sergeant at Arms Kirtana taking charge, followed up by the presiding officer, Toastmaster Hannah Victoria. Then came the TMOD of Toastmaster Ayappa. With his energy, he took us through the meeting. The first speaker, Toastmaster Ramesh, introduced himself to the club with his icebreaker speech wonderfully. The second speaker, Toastmaster Akhilesh, took us through a wonderful presentation about how Google loves its cookies. And the next speaker was Toastmaster Lokesh, who explained to us how communication is all about perception. Then came the table topic session, which was made very interesting by Toastmaster Ganesh Bhai. The evaluation session, as always, was great and a wonderful learning experience. Our Toastmasters gave precise evaluations. The general evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Nitin, and his stagger team gave a very clinical evaluation of the entire session. We had an attendance of 63, of which 42 were members. The awardees of the previous session were Toastmaster Sachi for the Tiger team, Toastmaster Nitin for the best role taker, Toastmaster Robinson D'Souza for table topic speaker, and Toastmaster Lokesh for the best speaker. That's all from my side. Thank you. Over to you, President.
Dear members, are the minutes are in order?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So I declare the minutes stand pass. I could see very few guests here. I would request them to stand up. Yeah. So I would request you to introduce ourselves to the club. Your name and what you do.
Yeah.
Start.
My name is Mohit. I am a senior software development manager working in Oracle. I am a board member of this club.
How old?
Thank you.
My name is Rishabh and I'm a student. I've come here with my friend Akash, who is now a member.
I'm Saurabh, area director, area Bangalore Toastmasters Club.
Thank you everyone. Dear members, how do we welcome our guests? Teaching is the only one profession which creates other professions, right? We are fortunate to live in this country where we consider teachers as equal as God. Maybe this is the reason, or maybe because of this culture, we stay together and we never try to invade others. And maybe this is the one reason, because we have many different states with different languages, still we stay together as one country. There is no doubt teachers are the builders of the nation, because they instill the good value system to the young minds, and thus that improvement in the society happens. So coming to my life, I studied in Raja's High School, Neeleshwar, which has a long legacy. It started in 1980, and when I was studying there, close to 4,000 students and 150 teachers were there. You know, my grandfather studied there, my mother studied there, I studied there in the same school, and next generation also studied, and now, so almost 4 to 5 generations, it's continuing. So Raja's High School and its teachers have played a major role in developing or improving my city or town or village. Teaching is a divine profession, and teachers are the most recognized and respected in a community. You can call actually my family as a teacher's family. Many members were or are teachers, starting from my grandfather, then my mother, both my father's both parents, and my uncle, aunts. Many people took this profession because it was clearly defined for them what is their path. Because they have to study, do degree and do a B.Ed or TTC and get into a school as a teacher. So you must be wondering why I didn't choose that profession. Now I can say that I read this poem, Road Not Taken, and got inspired and took a different path and became an engineer. From my young age, I was very clear that I don't want to be a teacher, I don't want to be that profession. Because I was damn scared to stand in front of many people. But at that point, I didn't want to admit that the easy way out for me was just to say everyone that I don't like this profession. I don't want to be a teacher. But really, I like to explain to my friends solving some toughest problems in maths, or one of the toughest subjects which I studied in engineering was graphics. I could explain those things to my friends and my juniors. Even though I enjoyed that process, I didn't have that dare to take that profession. So Toastmasters have helped me to realize that stage fear. I have that stage fear, and which helped me now, or I am trying to learn to handle that fear now. And Toastmaster is the best place, I believe, the best place to overcome your stage fear. At this moment, I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Ralph Smedley, who found this Toastmaster fraternity, and all the mentors who helped me, from Dr. Rajdeep sir, Sumitra ma'am, Sureka ma'am, Vivek Vijayan, Ayyappa. So many people are there who guided me and helped me to take new challenges to bring out the best in me. So this is themed as Teachers Day theme. So I would like to express my gratitude to all my teachers and mentors. With that note, I am happy to introduce you an energetic and enthusiastic Toastmaster. Since 2014, he is a Toastmaster. He is a member of our club. He was my mentor in speechcraft. He always inspired me with his wit and his clarity of thoughts and his critical evaluations or critical feedbacks. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming the Toastmaster of today, Toastmaster Karuna Gajde.
Thank you, Srijit, for the lovely introduction. Toastmasters and guests, a very good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is the most amazing view I'm seeing in 2 years of time. And if anyone wants to experience the view right now, the floor is open. Who wants to come with me? All right. Thank you so much for joining us for the first physical meeting in a long time. And today's theme is very close to my heart. This actually reminds me of my favorite teacher from my school days. He was a teacher for Hindi language in my school days, in my high school. And he was Abdul Riyaz Pasha. Now, to give you some brief on how he used to teach back in those days. The children of this era are experiencing AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D, 4D. And trust me when I'm saying this, we felt something similar. We felt that the play is happening in front of our eyes by the way he used to research on a specific character while narrating a story of a painting. That was the command he had in his language. That was the command, that was the kind of learning he had, or rather, that was the kind of passion he had to teach people, to teach and make sure that students do learn with a great amount of dedication. And they could relate to the character. even now, when I hear people talk about the stories like Pariksha or Puskira, I can visually imagine the way in which he used to narrate stories. And if I speak more about him, he was one of the most, he was a simple practitioner. What he used to do is that he had a simple conduct. I don't remember him wearing more than 2 or 3 different pairs of clothes. In our festival days, in our festivities, or in any celebrations when we used to have, what used to happen was he used to be on his white shirt and white pant, neatly tucked in, and a thorough gentleman in all ways. Fast forward 20 years, when I look back at my school, the school campus has added at least 2 or 3 hectares of land. What used to be a 2-floor building is a 5-floor monumental tower. And my school has added at least 2 dozen of branches in South India. But when I met such teachers even now, it is shocking to say, but when I meet them right now, their financial situation hasn't actually increased or transcended the way the school has grown exponentially. I still feel that the school teachers, the silent majority, haven't been able to earn money the way we have seen the education institutions grow. What shocked me recently is that in the times of pandemic, when all the classes are happening online through virtual medium, there are some super smart parents sitting on LinkedIn posting videos of how these teachers are being taught in the school. Would you be happy if a private person enters your official meeting on your calendar, on your Zoom? You won't be happy. And these teachers are in tremendous scrutiny even now. And we as a society have failed completely in terms of raising their salary or giving them the respect which they deserve. I hope our society, our people do realize it, and we do some kind of justice to the silent majority, the school teachers. The whole world is made by influential leaders, people who definitely care about the majority to grow or to be inspired by great values. In that regard, Toastmasters was founded by one of the mentors or teachers, rather you could say that, because he has been behind so many people. We handheld them and got them to the platform of Toastmasters of public speaking a century ago. On 22nd of October 1924 in Santa Ana, California, he founded Toastmasters International. And today this Toastmasters organization has served over millions of people in their journey of public speaking and leadership. Right now, the Toastmasters has over 15,000 clubs in 115 different countries through 15,000 different clubs. And our club, we founded Bangalore Toastmasters in the year 1997, and we have been up and running for more than 20 years here. And we have some of the people who've been here since the day we actually founded our club. And we are lucky to be having their support and their continuity for this long. Our regular Toastmaster meeting has 3 different categories, or you could say phases. First one is prepared speech, in which every speaker who comes on the stage has been given an assignment through Pathways module, in which they prepare for speech and perform here for a typical time duration of 5 to 7 minutes. The second session is impromptu speaking, that is called table topics for the benefit of guests, in which anyone from the audience could be called up on the stage and given a random topic to speak on for 2 minutes of time. And then we have evaluation. And every single role taker in this evening will be evaluated by a general evaluator. And he has his team of evaluators and even the tag team as well. And today, as the general evaluator, we have a person who is an educator for over 2 to 3 decades of time. He is an exemplary role model. He has been awarded by the President of India for being an exemplary role model. He teaches statistics and accounting at Jain University, and he is one of the most iconic Toastmasters in the Toastmasters fraternity internationally. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, he is a past resident, and he has represented our club to a district meets very significantly as well. So please put your hands together for one and only distinguished Toastmaster TM Mohan, who is the general evaluator of this evening. Put your hands. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Karnataka, for that wonderful introduction. You evaluated me better than my teachers did when I was young. I hope my wife was here. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. My role for the day will be just like a teacher after giving you the test, ranks you and marks you on how you have done. My job would be to replicate that and just see where you can improve and where you can put in a little more effort, and also find out where you have done extremely well. To help me in this task, I have three very enterprising Toastmasters. As the timer, we have a software engineer from Nokia who's also the current VP membership, an amazing girl and a fitness enthusiast. I can't still forget the way she did push-ups. So how many kgs, Priyanka? 20?
42.
How many kgs did you do, Priyanka?
Body weight, sir.
Oh my God. With that push-up, we have the timer. So, Priyanka, please explain your role.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. As a timer, my role is to make note, keep track and notify all the role takers and speakers regarding the duration of time taken. For all the speakers, I would display the green card at the last minute, the yellow card at the last 30 seconds, and the red card when it is ending the time. And for all the table topic speakers, the time for table topic is 1 to 2 minutes, so 2 to 2.5 minutes. So I'll be displaying the green card at 1.5 minutes, the yellow card at 2 minutes, and the red card at 2.5 minutes. That's all. And at the end of the meeting, when called upon, I will share my report.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. Thank you very much. As the R counter, we have another educator, an amazing person who, brilliant teacher of accounts, brilliant administrator. He was a head of department in the BMS Bachelor of Management Studies at iNurture, and now he's taken his path as an entrepreneur, and he connects academic and industry in a brilliant way. So with a big round of applause, you can explain your role, Puneet Raj.
Thank you, Ravi sir. As our counter, I will be listening very carefully for the use of vocal pauses and correct words such as whom, her, you know, and repetitive words or phrases. I'll keep track of everyone and report at the end of the meeting on who best control their use of filler words. This evaluation starts at the beginning of the meeting and ends at adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you. From one educator to another, as the grammarian, we have a lady who is a complete woman, an excellent mother, a fantastic news presenter, an excellent teacher. I was overawed by her beautiful icebreaker which she gave a few weeks back. Please explain your role, Chetna Rajendra.
Thank you. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. As a grammarian, I am responsible for introducing the word of the day. Today's word is tutelage. The definition on pronunciation is found on the board at the front of the room. I will record those participants who properly use the word of the day. I am watching for the 7 sins of grammar, which include using double negatives, double comparison, extra words, incorrect verb tense, confused adjectives and adverbs, inappropriate pronoun usage, and disagreement of subject and verb. I will also make note of the good usage of the English language. I'll present my report during the evaluation portion of the today's word. Tutelage, meaning protection or authority over someone or something. Usage, he had learned under Sriji's tutelage how to influence them to remember. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I will come back towards the end of the meeting to give my report. Thank you so much, Karan.
Thank you. Okay, before we proceed, we have an important announcement from the admin team of Ashirwad Center for the car owner of KA03MW9204. The car window is open, so you are risking your belongings, so make sure you are fixing it. Okay, here we start the prepared speech session. And the first speaker is attempting his first speech from the presentation mastery part, and he is giving his icebreaker. I request his evaluator, Toastmaster Achyut, to please read out the speech guidelines.
Good evening, everyone. Our speaker, Dr. Mohan, is going to be attempting his icebreaker today. Timer, please note that the timing is from 4 to 6 minutes. The purpose of the speech is to introduce yourself to the club. Thank you and all the best to you.
Thank you so much. This speaker is an MBBS from prestigious Bangalore Medical College. He works as a joint director with the government of Karnataka. And obviously he's going to speak about himself more. And Dr. Kushi Mohan Das is referred to Toastmasters, and he is mentored by Toastmaster Vince. Put your hands up for Dr. Mohan here.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. My father came from a remote village in Mysore. Since he got a government job, he came to Bangalore and we all settled in Bangalore, and I was able to get into good schools and colleges and pursue my education. As I was a very studious student, I was studying very well in my classes, and when I was in 5th standard, I met my benchmate, Anand. Anand, he was telling me he was very much interested to pursue a medical course. So I was also very much interested. We studied together, and we got good marks in 7th and 10th standard and PUC. Finally, Anand got a seat in Bangalore Medical College, and I got a seat in Manipal Private Medical College. But because those days private medical college the fees were very high, so I could not get admitted to the private medical college. The fees was 10,000 those days, 1980. Hence, I got admitted to engineering college in Bangalore. There, I was pursuing my engineering course of BE Civil and UEC for 8 months. At that point of time, actually, there was an announcement in the medical education department that there was an increase in 50 seats in Bangalore Medical College. My seat was transferred from Bangalore Medical College to Manipal Medical College to Bangalore Medical College, where I paid the fees of 300 rupees or 400 rupees and joined the college, and I was getting very nice. When I was in final years, unfortunately, my mother was not educated much. She had a brain hemorrhage and she collapsed on the day of my internal assessment. And on that day, then after 1 week, I attended I again took the internal assessment and finished my MBBS course. And then I joined. Then I was working in some 3-4 nursing homes. Later on, I applied for a government job, and I got a government job. And I was posted to some remote health center in Kopa. There from Kopa, I was working there as a medical officer, and I met a senior doctor by name Dr. Prasad. He is no more. He used to teach me some surgeries and how to treat patients and other things. One fine day, a young boy came to me with a snake bite. While he was fielding a cricket ball, he put his hand inside the bush and the snake bite bit him. So then ultimately we tried to save him as much as possible for some around 20 to 25 days. But we could not save him. Later on I was transferred, as it's a government job, I was transferred from Kopa to Bangalore Toastmasters. And there I worked for 5 years. And then there I got married. My wife Soumya, she is a housewife and it's married. Then again after 5 years I was transferred to Kamlesh, and there my son and my daughter was born. One thing I want to say in this context is that I was working in a health center in Kamlesh, where it's a remote center, where we and our lady doctor used to do 5 to 10 kilometers in the health center in a day. So I thought that let me develop my doctor there only, and our lady doctor there, she developed my doctor, which nobody takes this in these days. Then afterwards, I went to my post-graduation in Mysore Medical College, and I finished my MD then I came back to Bangalore since I was native of Bangalore. And I worked in various hospitals. And then out of my seniority, only at that I got promoted as standard. I am working as standard clinical department. In this context, I would like to remember Dr. Mohan, when she was speaking in a medical conference, I asked her, Madam, you are speaking very nicely. What is the secret? She told her, please join Toastmaster Doctor. We will improve communication skill and public speaking. So hence I am in front of you. I request you to help me to work on my communication skills. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohan. You are clearly at the right path and right age to join Toastmaster. Thank you so much. Okay, put your hands up for him once again, please. He has given All right, the second speaker has chosen effective coaching path, and he is attempting the project which is on connecting with storytelling. This speech is to be evaluated by Toastmaster Alan Arhana. I request him to read out the speech guidelines.
The purpose of this project is for the speaker to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Best of luck to the speaker.
Thank you so much. Now this speaker works with an esteemed organization which has given me 40% returns in 6 months of time on my stock investment. He works with Tata Steel and he works as a key account manager for Auto Original Equipment Manufacturer Division. He is a supremely dedicated Toastmaster, and I admire him for his deep insights on social media as well. Presenting your Toastmaster Kamlesh with a speech titled, Does Diabetes Kill? Does Diabetes Kill? Toastmaster Kamlesh.
There was a man who always enjoyed spending time with his family and friends, but he exercised no control on his eating habits. He consumed sweets as if sweets are made for him, and this habit of uncontrolled sweet intake continued for some time. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests.
Good evening.
Because of his family history of high blood sugar level, he regularly went for checkups and found his blood sugar level under control. One day morning, he went to a pathologist and get himself tested. The report was expected by evening. On that afternoon, he got a call. Are you Mr. So-and-so? Yes, the man replied. Are you diabetic? Man said, I am on borderline without any medication. Sir, your diabetes is 582, which is five times more than normal level. Sir, get yourself admitted to the hospital immediately. The man was frustrated, shocked, and cursed himself for his indisciplined life. But at that point of time, his wife was very supportive and asked him to get it tested to the other pathologist. He rushed to the another pathologist immediately, and after the test, the shocking report was reconfirmed. But at that point in time, he was very positive. And with this positiveness, he looked for a doctor, best doctor in the city. And he booked the appointment next day itself. Entire family got disturbed. The son was excited for going for their picnic next day, had to cancel. His wife and himself had to take unplanned leave. Next day, it was shock again, when the expert doctor said that you have to take insulin for the lifelong, backed by a strict diet plan. Toastmasters, anything is possible when the determination is strong. And he followed a strict diet, disciplined lifestyle, and regular exercise, backed by unbeatable attitude of bringing down the sugar level to the normal level. One day, an 85-year-old neighbor observed his distress, and he listened to everything. And he said, "My son, don't worry, this is a part of life. Just face it." And he recommended another doctor. Next day, he booked the appointment to the another doctor, and that day he relieved because his sugar level was come down to the very normal level. And doctor said that because of your hard work, your determination on a strict diet and regular exercise and disciplined life, your sugar level has come down. And he also assured that if you continue doing so, you need not to take any medicine at all. Let me introduce you to that person. This is none other than myself. And today, I'm happy to tell you that I'm not taking any medicine. My sugar level is under control. And what I follow, two things, very important. One is I cut down the complete sweet from my life, sugar, but added sweetness from my family and friends. Second, I made a routine of yoga and exercise as a part of my life. So no disease can touch me, that I can assure myself and reaffirm when I get up in the morning. I affirm that nothing, no disease can touch me, and I assure that that resonated in myself. So what lesson that we have learned from this incident? Three important lessons that I have learned. That first, no one can defeat you unless you defeat yourself. Second, always follow this disciplined life, not just for yourself, but for others. And third is always surrounded by very good people like you who can pull you up at any difficult situation. Thank you and very
Thank you so much, Kamlesh. I'm definitely going to show this video to my mom because she's diabetic and she has no control in terms of eating. But thankfully, we have cut down on sugar supplies completely and her sugar levels are in check. Okay, moving on. The third speaker. This speaker is presenting a project on building a social media presence from the presentation mastery part. And this speech will be evaluated by a Toastmaster who was the first distinguished woman Toastmaster from Bangalore. Toastmaster TM Mohan, please introduce.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Kambakar. A little correction, I'm the first woman DTM in Bangalore, not the first DTM. Yeah. The purpose of this project for this member is to apply her knowledge of social media in enhancing an established or a new social media presence. And she's also meant to share her experience enhancing that social media presence. All the best, Varsha, to your speech. Yeah.
Okay, this speaker was the best speaker in the previous term. This speaker was working with Byju's, quit and joined another company, now again back with Byju's. And when I spoke to her for tea break, she said she's actually again a notice period on Byju. I really don't get that. But she is a fantastic singer. She is one of the most dedicated Toastmasters I've ever come across. Put your hands up for Toastmaster Varsha.
Good evening, Toastmasters.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here to give you all a secret ingredient which increases all your visibilities. Before we do that, I'd like to start off with an activity. I'm going to give you a line of 2 songs each, and I'm requesting you all to guess who the artist is. The first song goes like this. Selfie मैंने ले लिया, सर पे मेरा रहता ताज. Who's the artist? Dilchak Puja. I heard at least 5-6 voices. I'm coming to the second one. यार पिया की आई.
Shreya, go.
No. Well, if I have to say so, this album was endorsed by the Nightingale of India, Lata Mangeshkar. It's been sung by a very learned singer, established one, and yet we did not hear as to who the artist is. If I have to reveal that, she's none other than Kaushiki Chakraborty, daughter of Pandit Ajay Chakraborty. Now, why do you think the first artist is better known in comparison with that of the second artist?
Because of social media.
Visibility.
Because
Visibility, and yes, of course, the secret ingredient, the social media presence. I'm sure all of you, after this live instance that I provided, should agree that the best known product outsells the best product. Now, after applying the secret ingredient into various dishes I perform every now and then, I've had the most successful quarter the last term. Now, not just at Toastmasters, but various other places, I was able to hire 6 right candidates to my team, all by myself, without the help of HR department. Now, if you ask me what is the difference, well, they would have taken 6 months. I was just able to complete them in 6 weeks. If there are HR folks in the crowd, no offense. Now, alongside that, the pictures that I took during my solo trip went on to get published at a very prestigious magazine, and ever since then, I've been getting a lot of offers to do various podcasts and give up articles in similar such forums. And especially after posting a LinkedIn post telling that I was able to share the best speaker for the entire term with the President Awardee Rajdeep Manwani, I've been able to deliver 4 paid sessions over the last 5 weeks. We're all here for opportunities, and ever since digital world has been taken over by various social media platforms, it's been creating opportunities for both brands as well as individuals. We all can shout out the name of the personality who's visible there, but what is she trying to convey? Anybody in the audience?
The watch.
Yes, the watch. Now, she's not just showing off the brilliant watch that she's wearing, but she's also recommending her fans to go and buy the watch. It must be very creative of the brand to have gotten it endorsed by a personality who was RX Miss World. Now, what is social media presence? As recommended, it is a visibility that a brand or an individual gets in various platforms amongst the targeted communities. Now, how did I imply all my learnings and was able to create those unlimited opportunities for myself. Firstly, I identified where my target audiences were. Now, when I spoke about the LinkedIn post that I was referring to, imagine, we all know that LinkedIn is a hub for job seekers and job hunters. If I would have made a mistake of putting the job opening in a platform like Instagram or Facebook instead of LinkedIn, do you think I would have been able to hire those 6 right candidates? No. Absolutely not. At the same time, if probably I had posted my solo trips pictures on LinkedIn instead of Facebook or Instagram, forget about 1,34,000 likes I received, I wouldn't have received 30. So it is about the choice of platform, is what I understood. Appearance, information, engagement, and endorsement, all these play extremely vital role. Now, when we talk about appearance, what we're seeing in the current slide is the categorization she's made into various services that she's been offering, a very good profile picture, a crisp introduction as to what she is or what the product or the brand she carries and the services that she's offering. Now, this plays a very, very important role because the visibility that you have brings in more and more customers and more opportunities for you. Now, endorsement is again one very, very such important aspect when it comes to social media presence, and that is very crucial aspect that I ever learned is because I praising about myself is nothing compared to that of a learned person talking about me and my accomplishments. Well, as most of you have come across when the previous speaker Kamlesh delivered his speech on LinkedIn, he had used a couple of snippets from my LinkedIn profile. I copied your idea of bringing it onto this as well. You can see the recommendation that Professor Dr. has given to me, and one of my subordinates has given to me, and I have a couple of my managers who've been giving recommendations to me. Well, the middle one, the professional one, is been getting me more career-oriented opportunities. The extreme ones are getting me more of matrimonial opportunities. So, if you are able to figure out what to post, where, and how to attract audience towards you, sky is the limit. And if I have to say so, I didn't travel to different places. I didn't travel in different time zones. I didn't have an agent or a consultant to do all these for me, for all these personal and professional work. I just happened to get everything at my doorstep according to my convenience because I followed a simple mantra: social media presence. Back to you, Karnataka.
Thank you so much, Varsha. Now I know whom to reach out to if I need to amplify my social media presence for free of cost. Okay, now we all would break for about 10 minutes of time. It is the time which you need to use wisely because we have table topic session coming up, which is thinking on the field. Your break time.
Hello Toastmasters and dear guests, a very warm welcome to the table topics session. Now for the benefit of the guests, let me give a small introduction to table topics. The table topics session is designed to enable speakers to speak for a matter of just 2 minutes with the opening to the speech, the content of the speech, and then you conclude very well, all within the 2 minutes. So as a table topic master, I would be calling a speaker randomly to give a speech on a topic, and the speaker will have to speak for a minimum of 1 minute, and the maximum time would be 2 minutes. So timer, please note that we will show the green card at 1.5 minutes rather, and 1 minute 45 minutes will be the amber card, and 2 minutes will be the red card. So, shall we start?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Now, as we all know that we are today having a session with a theme based on the Teachers' Day. And I think it is befitting that we honor the epitome of the teaching fraternity, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. So I think we need to take out some of these wonderful quotes that he's had, and so some of the topics will be based on that. Let me start. The first topic is a quote from Dr. Radhakrishnan. When we think we know, we cease to learn. That is, we stop learning. I repeat again, when we think we know, we cease to learn. And I thought it's also befitting that we start today's table topics by somebody who is known to be a teacher, Toastmaster Guru. Toastmaster Guru.
Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
Teaching and learning, both are two different things to me. The reason is, I don't read books. I try to read the people. When I interact with the people, I try to learn things from them. If I have to thank my parents first. Probably like when I'm with my mother, I started learning. Once I came, I've seen the world, witnessed the world. I have to thank my dad. From my dad, I learned, I've understood the world. Then, next, the teachers. As you know that I don't read books, I always have a challenge in my classrooms. But somehow, most of the teachers came forward and started motivating me each and every stage of my life. Be it in school. In fact, for the first time I fall in love with my English teacher. From there, many teachers, many mentors in career, education, profession, beyond that many friends, where I have learned, gained a lot of knowledge. I never ever think that I know. I always start with I don't know. And started aiming small things at every juncture and try to see to gain the best out of it. Thank you very much. Over to the
Toastmaster Guru, I think as always, Toastmaster Guru comes with a lot of passion. So that's wonderful. The next topic, again by Dr. Radhakrishnan, is the true teachers are those who help us think for ourselves. True teachers are those who help us think for ourselves. Toastmaster Utkarsh.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can I get a more happy response? Happy evening.
Happy evening.
I'm Toastmaster Utkarsh, and this is my first time on stage for a table topic. And I thank Toastmaster Table Topic Master Guru for such a lovely topic. I think to think for yourself is why humanity has evolved for so long. And because at one point in time the teachers did not exist. Teachers came about when a group of people who sort of understood what was going on in the past or in human life or in society rather, they came along, they sat in the room and they understood that they understood better than other people. And what they decided was they have to make other people understand how to think for themselves, both how to behave at some point, and that probably became religion. They wanted them to think about how to think for themselves scientifically, which came about scientists in the near future. They talked about how to make other people think creatively and artistically. That's why we have today's artists who have been inspired by previous artists. So I think the fact that today's sort of the statement that today's education system rather does not enable us to think for ourselves, rather it help makes us gather information and put out the same information on a piece of paper is a little bit counterintuitive. And I hope that going on into the future, these revolutionaries who we have today as well are the ones who think for themselves, who think differently compared to the ones who've not done so. And those are the ones who become real teachers in life, who become real thinkers in life and become better everything in life. So back to the table.
We move to another topic, another quote by Dr. Radhakrishnan. A life of joy and happiness is possible only on the basis of knowledge. I repeat, a life of joy and happiness is possible only on the basis of knowledge. Toastmaster Suma.
Thank you for the wonderful topic. Recently, I was invested in my self-development in the recent year, and I gained so much confidence that I have so many skills to discover and help people to discover their skills. How did this happen? I thought only I can teach at school and I can impact only few children. But then I discovered myself in investing self-development, that is knowledge. I totally absorbed that layer by layer, and I started implementing those in my real life. Slowly I overcome the fear of public speaking. The day when I joined here, in the month of March, many of them know how I was shivering on the stage. I overcome everything by enjoying this journey, the transformational journey which I recently had in my passion project, by unlocking my potential. This is what happens when you really love and do whatever you wanted to do in life. So when I implemented this in my classroom also, I saw those students, I wanted to help those students to come out of that fear. I just called them, hey, come here, speak for 30 seconds. Just the enjoyment, what I saw was unmeasurable. I could not express in my words. And this journey will continue in upskilling the teachers also. So one of my friend told that we need to upskill teachers. That I will take it as my mission to upskill teachers, because we need to give some training. Most of the time what happens, some teachers will join as a passion and some will join for the choice. But what happens, you need to upskill them and show the path that, hey, you can do better. This is the way you need to train yourself. You are good in this strategy, go ahead. So this will improve your skills and you can do better. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Experience that she shared. The next topic, again a quote by Dr. Radhakrishnan. Books are the means by which we build bridges between cultures. Books are the means by which we build bridges between cultures. Toastmaster Sanjana.
We usually read books, so we get to know about more cultures by reading books. You can just discuss with any of your friends. Like, if you have better knowledge, you can discuss it more confidently, and you get to know
teachers, I mean, these are of course not quotes by Dr. Radhakrishnan, but I think some other enlightened persons have told this, so I picked up some of them. The best teachers don't give you the answer. They spark within you the desire to find the answer yourself. I repeat, the best teachers don't give you the answer. They spark within you the desire to find the answer yourself. Toastmaster Vivek.
The problem is that the best teachers, this quote says that you expect all these teachers to do this work. Okay? For teachers to bring a spark in you and all this, you are always waiting for a teacher. But actually, this would never be done by a person who is called a teacher. It would be done by somebody senior to you, some of your colleagues, or some of your. Usually, what really happens is I've seen that all this is done by people who are much younger than you, who ask you some questions. When they ask you some questions, they create a spark in you to see, read more and to find out what is happening. But we never classify really them as a teacher. Before end of the exercises at the age of 65, 70, you are like, oh, none of the teachers inspired you. Oh, they are all waste. Teachers should have been better. Actually, they were never teachers. I mean, they were just instructors in their own life, in their own being. But the others who were really doing it, I mean, they were really the teachers who did something else. So I think this kind of quotes create some kind of a misnomer, Toastmaster Joe, that the teachers have to spark. Unfortunately, many teachers do not know that they should really be sparking. The others who spark don't get the benefit of the quote either. So I think we should slightly reverse this kind of quotes and adjust to whatever comes in.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vivek. I think we can expect Toastmaster Vivek to give his thought, which can be sometimes, opposite to the normal thinking. So I think hats off to you, Toastmaster Vivek. Next topic is, good teachers are the reason why ordinary students dream to do extraordinary things. Good teachers are the reason why ordinary students dream to do extraordinary things. Toastmaster Rajanna.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, dear guests.
Good evening. Good teachers are the reason why ordinary students dream to do extraordinary things.
I'm just digesting thought. So basically there's a difference between ordinary students and extraordinary students. So good teachers are the one who inspire the ordinary student to do something extraordinary. So this has not happened in my life. Just try to think in and tell you. So who are like ordinary students, like average or more than average? Who are they? There might be someone who will sit at the back benches and not know anything. So here the instructor who is standing here should inspire them to come to the front benches, if that is what is the topic given. So how do they do maybe a difficult math problem, science, cosita, all those things which only the front benches will understand. They might give you some inspiration so that you will come from there to the first bench. So I think they can do this. I have not seen anybody do that to me because I always used to sit in the last. So nobody did that to me. So if that happens, it's great. 14 plus.
Thank you, Master Rajana. Our next topic is this is something like somebody singing in praise of a teacher. So I think the speaker can possibly relate it to a teacher in his or her life. Though you wrote in black and white, you brought color in my life. I repeat, though you wrote in black and white, you brought color in my life. Toastmaster Nagesh.
Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Bringing color is something which I have seen from my childhood days. I want to talk about a teacher. Before that, I want to ask you, what is this? What is this? And what is this? The teacher, my teacher, Mr. Asthana in my school used to always do this when he was writing on the board. He used to aim perfectly to that student who was talking in the class with the chalk in his hand. And always he used to write in colored chalk case. He was ambidextrous. He was my English teacher. Why I remember him so well is, one is ambidextrous. He used to write on the board with his right hand as much as he could write with his left hand. He was a left-hander basically, predominantly. Second thing what I like about him is that he was an English teacher, he had the entire prose memorized in his mind. And he wanted us to write in our notebooks. Complete prose and poetry he used to write on the board, memorized, and he wanted us to write it on our notebooks. Why the second thing is important for me is that he used to explain English in Hindi. I was born and brought up in Lucknow, where Hindi was very predominant language for everything. We used to talk only in Hindi. And English was taught to me in Hindi. And that color I could see when I migrated to Bangalore. It was so very different here that everybody used to speak in English. I used to speak in Hindi. Even today I can imagine, I can still remember, I can imagine how good it was that you are all taught English in Hindi. Thank you. Any questions?
Next, a teacher's purpose is not to create students in his or her own image, but to develop students who can create their own image. I repeat, a teacher's purpose is not to create students in his or her own image, but to develop students who can create their own image. Is that Toastmaster Aaron?
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, all of you all, at least most of you all, would have heard of Mr. Kapil Sibal, right? He's a very Indian cabinet minister, and he's a very eminent lawyer, senior advocate of the Supreme Court of India. So one day we were briefing Mr. Sibal on a very serious matter, and it was a Friday evening, and it was a very serious regulatory issue involving the Reserve Bank of India. A lot of parties to the case. After this, there were about 20-25 lawyers and desk clerks and a very serious atmosphere. At the end of a 1 hour long briefing, you know what he did for us? He said, okay, so what do you want to do today? What do you want to do tomorrow? And how is the weekend? He said, no, it depends on the client, it depends on the work, it depends on weekending, work matters. And that's when he says that's what the issue is. You all need to learn where to draw boundaries. So what he did for us is something unique and which I want to speak about. He took 20 minutes of his time for the uninitiated senior counsel styles, he valuable both monetarily and otherwise. He took 20 minutes and he went through some of the poems he has written. So those of you who don't know, he's written over 100 poems that have been recited and sang in various movies, in various Bollywood movies and by various artists. And he's very popular. He's come up with credits to these movies. Some of the name ones. He went through, he told us about some of the current poems he's writing, what they mean in the scripture, in Sanskrit, and what he wants to focus on, and some of the legacy that he's trying to inculcate in poetry. Saying apart from what I do, and apart from the politics and the law, this is something I like focusing on because this is a great output for me. And it's not about being credited in movies and kind of in the song lyrics or anything, but this is something unique for him. And he actually made a compilation with these 100+ poems, and it's absolutely beautiful. He said, I share some of them with you.
this changed things. Because this said that you can be as serious as you are everyday work, but have an identity to yourself, something completely different and something that you otherwise be known for. Thank you and have a good day.
Our next topic is, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light a way for the others. I repeat, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light a way for the others. I call upon our area director, Toastmaster Saurav, to please speak.
I'm a teacher. Actually, all of us are teachers, right? Because all of us learn and all of us teach. We learn from others, we teach others, sometimes we teach ourselves. But I'm actually a teacher by profession, and I'm actually a teacher in my personal life as well. So I'm a KG to PG teacher. The KG is here. The PG I teach when I go to work. I think there are two kinds of teachers. One, the sage on the stage, and the other one, the guide by the side. So the choice that we need to make as a teacher, even in our life, is whether we want to be a sage on the stage or we want to be a guide by the side. If we decide to be a guide by the side, then we really need not worry about building a brand, about impressing our students, about trying to make a difference to how we come across to our students. We will only be thinking, how can we make the other person's life better? If rather we want to be a sage on the stage, we would always be insecure. Is there a halo behind me? Is there something shining? Am I wearing that crown on my head? In my opinion, those are the signs of being insecure, of being vulnerable. I learned this lesson from one of the best teachers in my life. This lady taught me how to not give up. There were several complaints that used to come from my school, and for all the good reasons. I would start from my school to reach the tuitions and would never reach there. I would get lost in the park somewhere in the middle. And similar such complaints about bunking classes, about not doing this, not doing that. One thing she taught me in my life, do whatever you want to, live your life on your own terms. But at the end of the day, remember this, what happens in the dark comes in the light one day. That teacher, and I want to salute her today in front of everyone here, my mom, is possibly the best teacher who has taught me this very important lesson. Thank you.
That was very well said, Dr. Toastmaster Saurav, and I think our next topic is in line with that. The topic is, the best teachers teach from the heart, not from the book. The best teachers teach from the heart, not from the book. Toastmaster Sai Deepak. The best teachers teach from the heart, not from the book.
So the best teachers teach, good evening everyone. So the best teachers teach from the heart and not from the book. So when I think of the word teacher, like I have met a lot of teachers in my life. Okay, like since my schooling, college. But once I joined my job, there's one of my seniors actually. He was my lead. So he taught a lot of things to me actually. He used to we used to work in a research kind of a job, and he used to always give us some kind of a problem which was very difficult to solve, and we used to struggle at that, and finally he used to just give us a hint over how to solve it, and finally we used to struggle hard over it, and finally we used to reach the solution. So from that, what I learned was that a teacher need not be that one who is who listen to in school or college, need not be that, but it can be anyone no, anyone can, we can learn something from anyone that we meet. And yeah, but I mean, personally, I feel like, though he was not exactly like a teacher for me, like, I think of him as my, biggest teacher in life as such.
I'm sorry, because of constraint of time we have to end, though I would have wished I could continue more. And I wish to announce the voting link for the best table topic speaker. Please take time out to cast your vote. The link, the code is 1288. Thank you. I hand over the lectern to Toastmaster Karnataka. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause for TM Dr Master and all the participants. And now the examination has been concluded. We all have fared well is what I believe, but it's on the evaluator, general evaluator, and I request the general evaluator to be a little lenient. It is our first meeting in a medical environment. So over to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Abdi Almani.
Thank you so much, Karnataka Dev. How much ever try and bribe the teacher, then you have to be lenient. The teacher will do his job. So thank you so much for that wonderful meeting so far. So let's start from the beginning, the theme of the meeting. There's a story told about Akbar and Birbal. Akbar wanted to reward the most or the best profession in the country. So he said, I'm not going to reward everybody, I'm going to reward the best professional. So he asked his ministers, which is the best profession in the country? And somebody shouted out, sir, the best profession is the architect, because the buildings are the representative of the city. So he said, call the best architect, we'll reward him. As soon as the architect came, somebody stood up and said, sir, no, it's not the architect who is the best professional. It's the businessman who trades and gets money for these monuments to build. So he said, call the best businessman. As the businessman came, somebody screamed and he said, no sir, it's the agriculturist. Because it's the agriculturist who cultivates the grains and these businessmen only trade in that. He said, call the best agriculturist. As the agriculturist was being rewarded, somebody shouted, no sir, it's the soldier, which is the best profession because he safeguards the borders of the country. So he said, call the best soldier. As he was about to over the soldier, somebody else stood up and Akbar got fed up. He told Birbal, why don't you tell me who is the best professional? Birbal sir said, Jahapana, give me half an hour, I will find this out for you. Birbal ran out to the court, and after half an hour he came back with an old lady. As soon as the old lady entered the court, the architect stood up, the businessman stood up, the soldiers stood up, the farmers stood up, the nobles and the courtiers stood up. Getting confused, even Akbar stood up. And he said, who is this old lady for which everybody is standing up? Birbal said, sir, she was the teacher for all these people. And then Birbal said something very interesting. He said, sir, you can have a country without architects, you can have a country without farmers and businessmen, but you cannot have a country without teachers, because they give the basis to what all these people become. So with that tribute to those teachers, let me start the evaluation for today's meeting. The evaluation begins with the Sergeant at Arms. And today we had a very, very charming Kirtana with the Sergeant at Arms, and I was asking Varsha and everybody around, how did it go? And she said, beautifully, she's arranged everything, she had written it beautifully on the board. You started the meeting bang on time, Kirtana. You were fantastic and you have been doing a wonderful job right from the time the meetings have been held online. Excellent job, Kirtana. The introduction also was very good. You talked about your teacher. The only thing that you messed up a little bit was the sloka. I think so you forgot the sloka went wrong. if you have somebody like me or Varsha who knows Sanskrit and a little bit of the sloka, you know that it becomes a big. Thank God everybody doesn't know Sanskrit, so you escape. You know, I escape. But next time just be a little careful if you are reciting that, or don't recite it at all. Why do you have to tell that? Like a Sanskrit sloka goes, translate it into English in what you're comfortable and then tell, right? I know Sanskrit gives a big glow to your speech, but it doesn't matter. So please be a little careful about that. But otherwise, you did a fantastic job for an excellent introduction, keeping and starting the meeting always on time with all your charm and the charisma which you carry. Please give Kirtana a big round of applause. Next we had the president who came on stage, and Srijit, you have been doing a wonderful job. I know this is the first offline meeting and you need courage to have an offline meeting, and as president you have the heart to call an offline meeting. That's amazing. You did a wonderful job. You spoke about your school, you spoke about your family of teachers, you spoke about why you didn't want to become a teacher, and I think so everything went on beautifully. I know now you are a maintenance engineer, you maintain machines, your parents maintain people through being teachers, but it's somewhere similar. But otherwise you did a fantastic job. Just a little bit of glitch, I think so. What happened was you said your school started in 1980 and your parents, grandparents and all studied there. I don't know when they started studying, but it was 80, right? How did you study 1980? That means you studied the, I don't know when, wherever. Okay, but so just be a little careful for the dates and all that, correct? You know, yeah, you will need dating later on in your life. So be a little careful about that. But otherwise, a great job, good introduction, fantastic setup. So well done, Srijit, for carrying on these meetings for such a wonderful. And you also introduced the guests. So big round of applause for. Next we had the secretary, standing secretary, who introduced the minutes of the meeting. You did a fantastic job. I think so, Preeti, and you have been doing a wonderful job. Sending the meetings on Sunday morning, we see the beautiful background and everything was done well. So I have no comments for you being the associate secretary. So please give him also a big round of applause. After that, we had the most charming and enthusiastic master of ceremonies, Toastmaster of the day, Karnakar Dev. Karnakar Dev, I think so, you carried this meeting so beautifully. I think so, we are absolutely privileged to have you as a member, and I think so, the education team did the right job by having the first offline meeting under your Toastmastership. I know you're glowing, you're about to get married. After marriage, this won't happen. So, you're sailing, you're floating, you're happy. This is called the pre-honeymoon period. Honeymoon period, we'll call you again as the Toastmaster. After that, when we call you, you'll see how you introduce people and all. That will be the real test. But till now, you did a fantastic job. I think so. What you did brilliantly was the introduction. You connected it with your teacher, and you also brought up the social issue about teachers, about how their pay hasn't risen, and you talked about your favorite teacher. You also did something very nice, which I liked, was the introductions were very, very nice. You introduced each speaker well, whether it was Dr. Mohan Kumar, or you talked about connecting the stock market with the Kamlesh introduction and Varsha, and making them feel good. That's one of the best things, right? Dada Vaswani, one of the greatest spiritual gurus, used to always say, did you see him on the road? Did you leave him with the load? And I always say this, like, if you have to introduce somebody, you should make him feel much better than he felt when he came on stage. So I think so that was brilliant. A small suggestion for you, Karnakar, is after each speech or after each speaker, try and connect the earlier speech with the next. I always mention this, that the Toastmaster is like a ringmaster. He is like the circus master when we had in the olden days. So after the lines, he do something which will connect the lion to the elephant. If he has the elephant next, you have to connect something with the elephant to the joker, correct? Make the joker wear an elephant mask. So you have to connect each of the dots. So after Dr. Mohan Kumar finished, might be have said, from one doctor we have another ailment, diabetes, and then talk about Kamlesh, from a sweet disease to a sweet girl like Varsha, correct? So have a connection between each of them, so you become a sutradhar, you become a ringmaster, where you actually connect each of them, and that brings out the best of a Toastmaster of the day. So just keep that small thing in mind. Otherwise, a great job, great introduction, wonderful sense of humor. Please give Karnakar a big round of applause. Next, we had the prepared speeches, and for the first speaker, Dr. Mohan Kumar, who gave his icebreaker, we have an MBA graduate, not graduate, a person who recently joined the MBA, a wonderful person who took up the job of the evaluator at the last moment. That shows his management capabilities. Mr. Achyuta, please can you come and evaluate?
Good evening, Toastmasters, guests, and Dr. Mohan in particular. The purpose of your speech was to introduce yourself to the audience, and I believe you did that excellently. You passed with flying colors there. I had an amazing time listening to your professional life, right from where you got inspired to become a doctor by a friend, Anand, in 5th grade, and then how you had hardships of getting into a medical college because you got allotted a seat in Manipal, which was a private college, and then how Bangalore Medical College increased its seat and came as a blessing in disguise for you to continue pursuing your passion. You then talked about how you worked in Copa, where you were under the tutelage of a senior doctor and learned most of your skills there. The story you mentioned about how you tried desperately to save a person from snake bite brought out your passion of being a doctor and saving lives. And then you briefly described about your personal life, about how you met your wife and then you married her and then moved on to Chintamani and had your kids there. These are few of the things that I found really well in your speech. But then I would also like to point out what you could have improved upon. During a few moments of your speech, you were not really audible to the audience, I believe. So it would help if you could be a bit more louder when you speak. And also, one more point was, your professional life was thoroughly covered, but I would have liked to listen to you talk about yourself as a person, about your family life. I believe those would have made your speech, those would have taken your speech to the very next level. With that, I welcome you to the Bangalore Toastmasters Club and wish you an amazing learning experience ahead. Thank you.
Fantastic job, Dr. Mohan Kumar. I think so. There is no age to learn, and that's what you symbolize by coming here and joining the club. And better. It's not necessary that you have to increase your voice. You can also use the mic. So you could have actually taken the mic and used it if you wanted. I think so. Might be somebody could have suggested it to him. I was about to tell that, but otherwise, just the audibility was an issue. And Achyuta, fantastic job. You covered both the points with a lot of aplomb. So please give Dr. Mohan Kumar and Achyuta a big round of applause.
It's here is coming to the end.
From 582 to what is it now? 110, okay, it's gone down, we are going up. Okay, so we had the miracle man who brought down his diabetes big time. So for his evaluator, who was his evaluator? Alan. Wonderful. Another very, very sweet Toastmaster, because we had Ayappa first, so that's why I forgot. A person who's an entrepreneur, an amazing speaker, always ready to take up roles. So Alan, it's all yours.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and Toastmaster Kamlesh in particular.
Good evening.
Now, the purpose of the project today was for Kamlesh to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Now, Kamlesh, one thing I want to say is that, weirdly enough, you managed to do both, and that speaks volumes about your speech today. Actually, when when Karnakar said the speech title, Does Diabetes Kill?, I was very apprehensive. I thought it's going to be a very preachy speech. But when you came on stage, you had a very, very exciting introduction, a very intriguing introduction. The most important part of your speech was the fact that you had personalized storytelling. It was your own story. And as you took us on through your journey of fighting diabetes and coming up on top, it also helped that you had great eye contact and you had great presence on stage. And most importantly, which a lot of Toastmasters forget to do, you didn't forget to smile. Right? Now, if I were to give you a few tips on how you could have done better or suggestions, one of the things that come to mind is when you heard that you had become diabetic, for example, and the doctor called you and said, are you Mr. So-and-so? And you said yes, right? If I was you, I would change the voice. I would say, are you Mr. So-and-so? And you would be like, yes, right? It adds a great layer to your speech and it makes it much more, interesting. So voice modulation is something that you can look at. Another thing is when it comes to usage of English language, I think that's something that you could improve. Now, how do you do that? One is to kind of read English newspapers every day. It will be very helpful to you, and to also not watch Indian news channels per se where there are debates, but to watch channels like BBC, which will improve your flow when it comes to delivering such speeches. Lastly, I would like to say that you spoke for 5 minutes 10 seconds, right? Your time limit was 5 to 7 minutes. You had 2 minutes where we could have got to know you and your journey better. So that is something for you to keep in mind. But Kamlesh, for your fantastic speech, I want to applaud you for your inspiring speech, and looking forward to hearing more stories and definitely being inspired by you. Over to the gentleman.
When Alan evaluates, you don't have anything else to say, just that it was fantastically done, Alan. But just to add one more dimension, when Kamlesh joined the club, he couldn't speak 2 sentences of English properly, and to where he's come, it's absolutely great, There was a ad line by Virginia Cinema cigarette company which said, "You've come a long way, baby." So, I think so, Kamlesh, brilliant, means I know what you've done. I know what you've done. You should go to Kapil Park, read out my experiments with Root loudly on the phone to improve your diction. So from a Hindi medium coming so far and to be the coordinator of the speechcraft which was held last time, I think so it's a tremendous and an inspiring journey. What he said was very true. Might be a little more, add something to it, make it 6 minutes or something like that, but otherwise a great job done, Kamlesh, and a great evaluation, Alan. So please give them both a big round of applause. Last but not the Dinchak Varsha, no Dinchak. And Dinchak Sumitra. Okay, Chakachak Sumitra. Okay. The most exciting, distinguished Toastmaster of our club, Sumitra, is going to evaluate Varsha.
Thanks to the great God taking a break, we got his namesake, Varsha, to shower us with her experience of using the social media. A very good evening, general evaluator, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. Yeah. You certainly wowed us with your your experience of the social media, and you certainly caught our attention by firstly bringing out those two extreme examples. When you mentioned these two examples, like how one is well known, immediately people could recall, and the other single, they're hardly known because she didn't have much of a presence. And you gave us a lot of ideas how to post ourselves on social media, a topic which everyone could immediately connect with. And what added to the credibility is you gave your own example of how you benefited and what were the results, and that's how you were able to share it. So there was a lot of credibility in it. And we all know, we all consider Dr. Ralph C. Smedley as our Mahaguru, and he's given us an invaluable gift. And what we say is that what we make of ourselves is our gift to him. So here are some of my suggestions how you can polish yourself up and make yourself a brilliant gift back to Dr. Ralph C. Smedley. Now, considering you've given so many speeches, I felt the opening of the speech was rather tame. You said good evening, and then came out with these two examples. If I were you, I would say, how many of you would like to get professional speaking as paid assignments? And then you could have started off with that, and then give us how you went about it, brought in these two examples, and also you also had this what to post, where to post, and how to post. I rather felt that in the structuring, if you had organized your whole thing around those 3 points and then brought in your target audience, target platform, appearance, information, engagement, and endorsement, worked it around those, it would have remained in our minds. And what we need is knowledge how to do it. I felt it was more of telling you where all you benefited, right? So remember, in communication, we speak to express, not to impress. And regarding the slides, I felt some of them were a little too cluttered. The one take for example the endorsement one. Perhaps you could have highlighted two of the biggest one where you got professional speaking assignments, and on the lighter side that matrimonial thing. Just focused on two. It was a little too cluttered, the slides. Yeah? And what you need to work on also is the ending. I felt it was a little hurried, right? It was mind-blowing, your experience, a bit breezy. You just skimmed through everything. So I would suggest, since it's a very interesting topic and you're sharing a lot of gyan, showering us with a lot of grand, so do repeat it. Not that it's bad, but to sharpen it, repeat it, and drench people with it so that they are totally washed away with what you showered them with. It's back to our gentleman.
Thank you so much, Sumitra. I pity Sumitra's husband. She took out 6 points of improvement in an evaluation of 2.5, how many minutes did she evaluate?
4 minutes, 7
4 minutes.
seconds.
I think so 3.5 minutes was criticism. 1 minute was the praise to the rain god. But Varsha, don't take it too much to heart because you are doing level 5 and I think so Sumitra's criticism was well intentioned because you are a master speaker and you're doing presentation mastery. She wanted you to improve, that's why she is giving you so many criticism. But just take solace from the fact that her husband has to bear it every day, you bore it only for 4 minutes. But otherwise, Sumitra, very, very critical. I think so you should be a little, even if a person is giving level 5, I think so there should be at least 2 or 3 points to appreciate a person and then give 6 points of improvement. But it's okay. Criticism is the mother of DTM. So, whatever. Okay, that was made up on the spot. After that, we had the table topics master, and I think so. Jose Paul is a consultant, as a labor consultant, and he took out topics which were so very nice. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and then going on to the teaching theme, so that the theme of the teachers continued. So you had a varied thing, Jose, and commendable that you had people speaking for more than what they had to speak. I thought at least Suma spoke longer than what she had to speak. Utkarsh spoke much longer, though he was giving it for the first time on stage. There were some beautiful aberrations over here. Guru doesn't read books, he reads people. No wonder he keeps staring at those ladies. Be careful, correct? He observes people. I don't know what you stare at, Guru, but whatever. Vivek the contrarian. Whenever you give a topic to Vivek Vijayan, he will always take out something contrary and come out. Isn't it? As usual contrary. Correct or no? So that's become very expected of Vivek. So you could expect that contrary, and that rubs on to Rajanna. He also tries to be a little contrarian. So instead of respecting the topic, you contradict the topic and then do something about it. That's brilliant. You know, means it's a new style which Vivek has introduced in our club, which is good, and people are picking it up, and all the speakers did a fantastic job. So I think so that gives kudos to what you showed, and only one topic which I thought was a little off was you wrote in black and white and you showed me colors. It should have been a love letter, but it came for teachers. But otherwise, I think so it was a fantastic job. So please give Jose Paul a big round of applause. Now we have my tackle team who is going to give their report. So for the time report, we have Priyanka.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters.
Good evening.
One of the most important things that we learn in Toastmasters is to challenge yourself by coming out of your comfort zone. And this was one of the meetings because we were so used to the online meeting. Standing here, I still get jitters, but close to all the road takers who came here and spoke. All the speakers spoke well within the time limit. All the table topic speakers all spoke well within the time limit, except Toastmaster Sanjana, who spoke much lesser than the lower limit. And in evaluation, only Toastmaster VP and Sumitra and Mohan exceeded the limit. That's all. Over to you.
Totally, there was 81 used entire day. So, Kirtana 0, Karna Pradev 11, Radhi Pamani 3, Jose Paul 12, Dr Mohan 5, Kamlesh 4, Varsha, the great at the end, last suddenly Indian cricket team. 9 out of 8 came at the last close and slide. Srijit 4, Vishal 5, Achita 1, Alin 2, Sumitra Ma'am 2, Guru Prasad 0, Utkarsh 6, Suma 2, Sanjana 2, Vivek 1, Rajana 3, Nagesh 2. So many others, but like I mean, such words were used and we the report. Thank you.
Thank you.
These two, you sounded like James Anderson. we had our grammarian, a last minute replacement, Chetna. Chetna, please go to your read out.
Some of the good usage of the day. No one can defeat you unless you are defeated by yourself. Upskill, KG to PG teacher, sage on the stage, guide by the stage. And communication, we speak to express, not to impress, were some of the good usage of the day. But the thing is, nobody has used word of the day to change. So, I would like to use at the end, that is under BTMC mentors tutelage, the mentees get confidence to further public school.
Thank you so much, Chetna. We had our listener who came in just a little late. He is actually a computer engineer. He's doing his computer engineering from JN College, Kanakpura Road. So let's call on Aditya, who is going to test your listening knowledge. You of course there's no listener, so this is going to be a surprise for you. So Aditya.
As a listener, I've noted a few tidbits of information and made a couple of questions to see if you all were paying any attention. So here it goes. The first question is, which medical college did Toastmaster Dr Mohan initially got selected?
Manipal.
That is correct. And which location was he posted in as a medical officer?
Kopa.
It's actually Chintamani.
Chintamani.
Kopa. Okay, sorry. Right, we come to the second speaker. What did the initial doctor tell Toastmaster Kamlesh to follow?
Diet, regular exercise.
Yes. And
Insulin.
Insulin. So, and what are the 3 lessons of life?
Live life in time.
It's no one can defeat you unless you defeat yourself. Be disciplined and surround yourself with positivity. Alright, this is a very difficult one. If you all been paying attention to the slides on the stage, what watch was Aishwarya Rai?
Rolex.
No time.
Longines. Longines, yes.
Look like a Rolex.
And which tool helped Toastmaster Varsha gain the massive opportunities she had? LinkedIn. Yes.
Which aspect?
Back to the individual.
Thank you. Better late than never. You came late, but thank you so much for doing that. And a good teacher is not known by himself, but he's known by his student. We know Ramakrishna Paramahansa because of Swami Vivekananda. We know Aristotle because of Alexander the Great. We know Ramakanta Achrekar because of Sachin Tendulkar, and we know Nambiar because of P.T. Usha. So if we can't become great teachers, it's okay. But let us all become great students in one way or the other, whether in Toastmasters or in life, so that we can make our teachers known in the world. With that, I would like to thank Srijit, Hannah, President, VP Education, and the entire committee for giving me this opportunity to come here. And with that, I hand it back to the Toastmaster of the Day, Karnataka.
Thank you so much, General Bangalore Toastmasters. Now we know what were we missing for so long. Such a fantastic physical meeting. I wish that happens for a longer time schedule. And I hope that you all follow social distancing and wearing masks so that it will actually enable us to have physical meetings more often than not. But put your hands up for every role taker, every speaker, every evaluator. Has to end sometime, my role has to end here. But I am leaving you with a quote by a famous British writer by name Carl Lewis, who once famously said that the role of modern educators or teacher, is not to cut jungles, but to irrigate deserts. Over to the President, Toastmaster Shri. Put your hands up for him.
That was a fantastic TM session from Toastmaster Karunagar there. Thanks Karunagar. Please give him a loud applause. We have a list to vote for evaluator and the role takers. I request everyone to, the voting code is 1288. So when you are doing that, I would give a surprise announcement. Actually, maybe you might have forgotten. Actually, we had a tagline contest for our area B3 in the beginning of this term, and to surprise all of you, the winner is from our club. That is none other than TM Sumitra Manmohan. Stage and the area director to give her a gift voucher.
$1 million.
We don't have a visitor compliment. But we need a photo. We need a photo. We have a photo. So we have a hiding certificate.
Hey, she on. Picture.
So our tagline for the area is Involve to Evolve, and this tagline was contributed by TM Dr Mohan. Thank you so much.
Linking.
Now I request one of our newest Toastmaster Kunal. Can you just give your experience? How did you feel about today's meeting? You want a mic?
Thank you so much, everyone.
How did you feel this meeting?
Yeah, thank you so much. I did attend a couple of meetings as a guest, the club online, of course. And I really felt warm and nice coming here and really looking forward to this. And I think the awareness which everybody listens is hard to find anywhere else because we attend so many meetings and so many other things. But I think it's wonderful to be here and looking forward to my Toastmasters journey.
I wish you a great journey, great Toastmaster journey through Bangalore Toastmasters Club. Yeah. Then, anybody wants to do a table topic? I'll for 1 minute. Moidin, I'll do it. That is a table topic for me. Okay, I will speak to one topic what you were saying. Yes. Teaching kids count is fine, but teaching them what counts is the best. So in 1992, so a kid passed out 10th class and he got a second rank in the school. But difference between the first rank and second rank, the marks are only 12 marks. with that enthusiasm and excitement, he joined in junior college and he started his first year, and then he failed English and mathematics and all. And he was confused because English is new for him, and he confused and he was not getting what to do. Then in 1994, so one teacher transferred to my village, in the village, and he was a junior zoology teacher. Then I met him and he started taking a tuitions. So that kid joined the tuitions and he learned how to speak English little bit, and also he got a lot of motivation. And that kid so went to BITS Pilani, and then he went to IIM Ahmedabad and he started three companies, and he joined in MNC companies. So that kid is me. Then that teacher expired on Teachers' Day, September 5th. So I lost my teacher on Teachers' Day, but luckily God placed her daughter under my tutelage. That's it. Yeah.
He married his teacher's daughter. What a celebration. Teacher brought him to marry the teacher's daughter. What was it you didn't tell that?
Now it's time to announce the awards. For the icebreaker, for the first time he is coming here on stage, we would like to congratulate Toastmaster Dr. Mohan. Next, best Tagal team goes to Toastmaster Chetana. And the best role taker award goes to TM Dr Mohan. Best evaluator, it is a tie. Toastmaster Alan and Toastmaster Achuta. The best table topic speaker goes to Toastmaster Sarah, our area director. And the best speaker, Toastmaster Varsha. Yes, with that, I have one more announcement. We have already announced this. We are starting a speech class program this month in September mid. So please spread this news. Thank you. With that note, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much everyone for joining this meeting, and we wish to have this meeting many more. Thank you.